Most men genuinely be like, no, I got this as soon as the bill arrives. But I noticed he didn't do that. He was very slow on the reaching for the bill. I'm like, sir, why are you trying to put tongue inside the mouths that you could not buy dinner? You could you couldn't pay for this mouth to eat. And now you want to be putting your mouth in this mouth. Hey beautiful people, I'm Mimi of Just Doing Me. Welcome back to the channel, and today we've got a bit of a chit chat, a little bit of a story time, but I really just want to delve into kind of what people's thoughts are around who pays on a first date. Like, I know traditionally it's kind of been like, well, men should pay, right? Has that changed? Has that not changed? Are we all feminist, 50-50, all that jazz? So let's get into it. Yesterday I took a poll on my Instagram, so if you're not following me, go follow me, because that's kind of where I'm going to be engaging with you guys before I actually sit down and film some of these videos. Okay, so let me have a look at the results. So yesterday when I posted it, I think about an hour or 2 hours later, it was about 75% of women felt that on a first date, if the man allows you to pay half, you should keep it walking, as I phrased it, leave that man to his ancestors. And about 25% women thought no biggie, let's schedule the next date. So as of now, it hasn't really broken away. So it was about 75% yesterday. Today it's 73% of women still feel that if a man doesn't pay, that's a deal breaker, or we're stepping away. And 27% of women think that's all good, let's keep it moving, no big deal. So I'd say it's safe to say it's about 3/4 of women expect a man to pay, and about 1/4 are chill either way. It's funny that, because I've heard about these women that are super chill and are quite happy to pay on a first date. In reality, I've never met them. I've legit never met them, and I think there were a few people that messaged me that they're absolutely fine. So I know they're out there, but do I know any of these women that are happy to pay on the first date? I can't say that I do. Most women that I've met expect that from a man. So I'll give you guys a little background about the guy that I went out with that kind of like got me thinking a little bit. So we actually went on 2 dates, and he was a really nice guy. What I did like about him is that he was very attentive. Like, he would text me every morning, good morning, text me at night, like, and I'm someone who doesn't really engage at the start, because like, until I catch feelings, like, you're gonna get what you get. So that's something I really appreciated from him. And like, once I saw that he was quite consistent with it, doing it for a few weeks, I started to reciprocate, just because I felt like he's giving so much, I want to give in return. So we're talking for a few weeks, and then we scheduled the first date. I think we matched on one of the apps. So we scheduled the first date, and it was just drinks, which I like. I'm a fan of something non-committal on the first date. You can judge for yourself, like, do I like you, do I not like you? And in terms of like paying, I think it also makes sense. You know, if you're not sure, if you don't know the person externally, like maybe from work or a club, or not, I mean a nightclub, I mean like a social club, if you don't know them in person, you might not be sure whether or not your personalities match. So you might want something non-committal, especially like if you're just met on an app. So drinks for me, that made sense. I can get up and go. Like, I've literally stayed for 30 minutes on a drinks date and grabbed my bag and left, because I'm like, yeah, this is not going anywhere. So I like drinks on the first date, and I think he picked the spot, and we met for the first time. I wasn't like blown away or super impressed. Like, it wasn't really my type, but our communication was good. I liked, you know, the flow, give it a chance, you know, trying to be more open-minded and whatnot. I was quite late for the day. I think I was about 15 to 20 minutes late. So I remember I said to him, like, the first round's on me. I'm so sorry I'm late. The first round's on me. And I went to the bar to pay. He was next to me, went to the bar to pay, and he let me. Now, I didn't mind too much, but I'm not gonna lie, I took a mental note of that. I didn't mind too much, because like, I genuinely felt bad about being a bit late, and like, whatever, it's just a drink, I don't mind too much. But am I gonna act like I wouldn't say resent, that's too strong a word, like I didn't take note and I didn't kind of look at him a bit sideways, but just because I truly feel at the start of a relationship or dating, I feel like a man should want to put his best foot forward, you know. So I'm not saying you're going to pay for every single day, but at least in the beginning, like, you can just be like, I would have really appreciated, I might not even have let him pay, but if he'd just been a bit like, oh no, come on, that's absolutely fine, you know, it's our first date, let me get this, I would have appreciated that. But I bought the first round of drinks, he bought the next one, and after 2 rounds of drinks we called it a day. I wasn't really sure like how I felt about him. I was and eyeing, and it wasn't about the paying. Like, I took a note of it, but that wasn't that big a deal. He let me buy a drink round, whatever, cool. But I said, let me give him another chance, because although on paper he's not my type, although on paper he doesn't have, you know, a lot of the things that like maybe have been quite important to me, like education background, really good job, let me try and, you know, give a nice guy a chance, whatever, step out of my comfort zone, see if it leads to something good. So our second date, again, he schedules it, he picks the place, and he actually messaged me, he was like, would you like to go for dinner, like, would you like to meet again and maybe go for dinner this time? And we talked about it, and we agreed like Thai was going to be good. And again, he chose the restaurant, he did a bit of research, which I appreciate. I don't like picking where we go, not because I'm not capable, because again, at the start I feel like a man should be putting in effort to plan the date, even if he's not spending money. Like, if you say, oh, let's go and do this really fun walk in the park, or this art gallery has a free exhibition, like, I'm there for that. It means you put thought into it, it means you've put consideration into it. You're just like, okay, cool, whatever bar you want to go to. I don't like that. So I rated that. I was like, oh, okay, so he's escalating from drinks to dinner. That's a good sign. So obviously we've met, he liked me enough, and now he wants to, you know, put a bit more commitment behind the date, which is like obviously an escalation from drinks to dinner. He picks the restaurant. I'm like, cool, that works well. Obviously after checking with me that I like Thai food. And we go, we have a good date. Second date actually goes a lot better than the first, because I feel like he made more effort. I like a man that's like looking good, like takes a bit of pride in his appearance, and he was looking a bit smarter, obviously, I guess because it's dinner and not just drinks. Yeah, like when I showed up, I was like pleasantly surprised. Like, he cleaned up quite nicely. I don't know if he'd made more of an effort because he liked me, I don't know, but he cleaned up really good, and we had a really good day, just talking and sharing stuff like, you know, what I do for work, what he does, what his day in day out is like, a bit about family, etc. And then at the end of the day, it comes to paying. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like I've got very interesting views on this, because if I go on a date, and I know a lot of women don't agree, like, this has actually been very eye-opening, because you guys have been sending me your thoughts and, you know, what your beliefs are, and it's totally been eye-opening. Apparently most women will not even offer. But anyway, let's get to that. So, me in the past, if I don't like you, if I've sat through that dinner and I don't like you and I never want to see you again, I'll either pay half or I'll pay everything. In fact, to be honest, I've in the past, I've paid everything. I'm literally like, I have zero interest in you. There should be absolutely no reason why you should ever contact me again. Like, for me, in my mind, mentally, it's a clean slate. We're done. Like, I don't owe you, whatever, I can leave. That's how I feel about it. If I'm not interested in you, absolutely no reason for you to pay for me. If I am interested in you, however, sir, like, for me, it's like it's a luxury. Like it's a good thing. If I'm allowing you to pay for me, it's a good thing. It's a good sign. It means I want to see you again. But okay, how it happened. So they brought the bill. I think it was about £70. So it's not like we'd gone to a super flashy restaurant. I think we'd had like a dessert, 2 cocktails, and 2 meals, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't even up to £70, maybe about 60, or maybe the service charge, I don't know. So anyway, I was trying to be polite, of course, and kind of offering, and I don't always offer. There are dates I've been on, I'll just sit there, mainly if I really like them, that I'll just be like, no sir, you're not gonna cook it up now, you know. But I'll be honest with you, like, most men have always offered to pay. Like, I really haven't had to even offer. Most men genuinely like, no, I got this as soon as the bill arrives. But I noticed he didn't do that. He was very slow on the reaching for the bill. So when he finally did, I felt a bit uncomfortable. Like, just sitting there and watching. And obviously because I'd also bought our first round of drinks, it was also in the back of my mind that okay, maybe he's a 50-50 person and would expect me to pay. So I offered. I thought, you know, I'm being polite, I'm not going to sit there like an entitled princess. I offered. I have money in the bank account, I can cover my dinner. And I specifically said, would you like me to pay half of it? And he was like, yeah, okay then. Honestly, I can't even express the shock because in my 34 years, no man has ever responded with like, yeah, you pay. Like, I don't know if it's entitlement, I don't know, but it's just the truth. I have never bought my own dinner. But a guy I like anyway, in 34 years, I've never heard that, yeah, okay, you pay half. So honestly, I was astounded. I don't know if it showed on my face, I don't know if I was able to hide it, but your good sis paid, you know, for half her dinner. Now, what was interesting to me was, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe he didn't have a good date, you know, because the same way if I don't like you, I'm happy to pay for my dinner. I feel like for a lot of men, they think, well, if I don't like her, then I will only pay for myself. So that's what in my head I thought it was. Okay, maybe he didn't really like me or didn't really like the date, and for him that was like, okay, cool. So now some people feel like it doesn't matter if the guy likes you or not. If he's invited you out, he should pay. And some people also feel like whoever invites who should pay. So obviously this guy is the one who asked me to dinner. We've done drinks in the past. Like, if money was a problem, sir, why didn't we just do drinks again? Why did you escalate to dinner? Why did you pick this restaurant if you couldn't, you know, treat your good sis? So for me now, it was looking like it was a problem, because first date, kind of let it slide. For me though, first date, you really want to put your best foot forward, but I'm not going to judge you too much. Second date, sir, yeah, it's not making sense. But I thought, okay, cool, maybe he doesn't like me. So come and explain to me why walking to my car, like our cars were in the same parking lot, and at the end of the date, you're now trying to kiss me. I'm like, sir, why are you trying to put tongue inside the mouths that you could not buy dinner? You could... you couldn't pay for this mouth to eat. And now you want to be putting your mouth in his mouth. That's why I was a bit confused. I'm like, sir, obviously you don't like me. That's why I had to buy my own dinner. But now you're acting like you do like me. And it was very weird as well, because we had a really good date. The conversation was flowing. And also he's quite sweet, because I think after our first date, he was telling me that like he'd made this chili and he really wanted me to try it. And he actually, after the kiss, he went in his car, he brought out a bag, and he'd actually packed the chili that he had made as a takeaway for me to try. And I thought that was so cute. Like, and I was on the phone to my sister, I'm like, oh my god, that's so sweet. And I don't know what to do, because he's ticking a lot of boxes, he's very attentive, you know, he communicates well, and you know, he's doing some very sweet gestures, which I appreciate. But 2 dates now in a row, you've allowed your good sis to enter her purse. And for me personally, can I just say, everybody has their own standard. It's, you know, varies from culture to culture. You know, in Nigeria, women don't pay for anything. First date, second date, third date, 100th date. The men are expected to pay. The men are expected to be the providers in more traditional roles. But then I guess the argument can be made that our women still, you know, maintaining those traditional roles. And yeah, I think as well in Nigeria and, you know, Africa, a lot of the times women are still, you know, the primary rearers of the children or raising the children, the primary home takers. So it's very fair. Now, when you step away from those traditional roles, is it still fair for the man to pay on the dates? Me personally, everybody's entitled to their own, but I do like a provider and I do like a gentleman. Now, I think on the first 3 dates, I personally don't want to pay. After that, I'm quite happy to comfortably... It's not even like I don't want to pay. Like, if we go for dinner and you pay for dinner, I'll buy the drinks when we go and have a few cocktails, like, whatever. But... you let me buy my... I just don't even know how to explain it. I couldn't get my mind around it. I couldn't, like... It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, somebody you're interested in, why would you not just want to? But then again, like, he might believe in 50-50. He might believe that's a sign of equality, sorry, but we have actually not achieved that level of equality yet. First of all, women earn 25 to 30% less for doing the same job as a lot of men do in the same role. So when we reach that equality, maybe we can talk about it, but also at the same time, I don't even believe that that's what equality means. Equality doesn't mean, 50-50. It doesn't mean we do the same thing. It means it's a balanced partnership, to me anyway. If we have children, I'm going to be pregnant for 9 months. How are we going to 50-50 that, sir? My body's going to change. How are we going to 50-50 that, sir? I'm the one that's going to have to go through childbirth. How are we going to 50-50 that? There's so much in relationships that you cannot 50-50. It just means it should kind of be a balance. So I really hate that argument. Oh, well, women voted for this. You wanted equality. 50-50 does not mean equality, sir. I've gone home, he's kissed me, he's given me the chili, which I appreciated, and I'm just talking to my sister and I'm like, look, first date, second date, I'm fully confident that the third date is going to be the exact same thing, and I'm just not down with that. As I've said, I like a provider, I like a gentleman, and I don't need for you to provide. Like, I'm really not someone who expects a man to pay for every single date, but those first three matter and they count, because I'm a giver. Like, that's my love language. Like, I love to receive, like, what do they call it, gift giving? I think that's one of the 5 love languages. I love to receive gifts, but because that's how I love to receive love, that's also how I give out love. So for me, it's nothing for me to, buy you things. I bought men. We've not even got to that one because the money I spent on men in the past is actually shameful. But for me, I can't be my authentic self with a man who doesn't, I don't know, speak my love language. Like, I can't understand it. Like, I like who's obviously maybe an acts of service kind of guy, making me that chili, packing it up, which is all great because I appreciate it, but I would have still rather had my dinner paid for. Like, I don't know, and I guess, like, he's not going to know what my love language is, right at the start. He's not going to know that maybe that's my preference. And I did debate with, do I tell him, like, this is kind of my expectation? I'm just like, there's no way to communicate that in a way that it doesn't sound entitled. Also, there's no way to teach a man who isn't a natural provider to be a provider. Like, these are his views, he's very entitled to them, but then he needs to date someone who's also of that 50-50 mindset. Now, an interesting story that I saw on social media the other day was this woman complaining that, like, she's always done 50-50 with her partner, I think her husband now. They've been together for 8 years. Right from the start, they were splitting the bills down the middle, dinners, everything, not a problem. And recently she gave birth to their second child, and I think this must be in America where they don't have free healthcare. You're bad. So I think she'd gone into labor. The initial plan was that she wouldn't have any anesthetics or any, whatever, for the pain, and she was going to do a water birth, but the pain was so bad that she ended up saying, like, anesthetize me, and they put her under. Well, I don't think they put her under, but they took the pain away, and then they got the bill afterwards. And she said that she was in 28 hours of labor. Like, she tried to hold on for as long as she could without them drugging her, but she was like, nah, this is too much. Like, give me the drugs. And she said that the bill came like a month later after she got discharged. So I think because it was a bit of a traumatic birth or whatever, they kept her in the hospital for like a day or 2 extra days. The bill came and it was £8,000. He didn't even say let's go half and half. He said, this is your $8,000. This is your $8,000 bill because you should have held out like our original plan, and you should have been strong and held through it. Like, I didn't budget for this, I didn't plan this. This is all an expense that you've incurred. You should pay all of it. And she said that she paid it, but she paid it very begrudgingly. Until now, they're still arguing about it. She feels like the least this man can do is pay half of the bill, and it's at the point now where she's actually considering divorce, because how can she go and give birth to their children and my guy is blaming her for not being able to handle the pain? And this is kind of like where I see the real issue, because if somebody doesn't have a generous spirit, they don't have a generous spirit. Like, if they want to be like, oh, you had, you know, 3/4 of the pasta that we bought in the house this month, so instead of you paying, you know, £2, which is half, I think you should pay £3, which is 3/4. Like, I cannot do that. I've got a generous spirit. I want to give freely. I want to give openly. I don't want to be calculating this. I don't want to be calculating that. It's not for me. You know, some people like it. It's not for me. There are women out there, I think, you know, is it Swedish or those more Nordic countries where the women are very independent, how dare you offer. It's not me. But I fully respect your right to want to pay for your own dinner, but it's not for me. Like, I can't. And until now, like, that story still shocks me, because obviously this is a woman that has been happy paying 50-50, never batting an eyelid about it. But your own child, she gave birth to your own child, and you want her to pay 100% of the bill? Like, where was the 50-50 when she was in pain and labour for 28 hours? Like, how much of that pain did you take on, sir? So for me, it just seems very, very convenient, the whole 50-50 sometimes, that, like, it's like, oh, women, you voted for it, you're feminist, you got what you deserve, it's equality, It's not equality, you know. Equality is balancing the playing field. It's not 50-50. It's not, you know, you get the exact same thing. It's like a disabled person running against an abled person. Them having to run the exact same 100-meter race is not equality. Them taking into account the disability and maybe giving the disabled or less abled person a significant or measurable head start to account for the disability, that is equality. You know, equality doesn't mean same. It doesn't mean 50-50. I hope you guys are getting my point. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. If a guy's not, at least for the first 3 days, willing to foot the bill, especially for dinner, sir, especially for dinner, yeah. So I did kind of say to him, I think I texted him that same, well, it wasn't the same evening, it was the next day. Can't be that rude. So I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't really feel the connection. And I felt really bad because I did kind of feel the connection, but long term it would be a problem. If I'd gone for that 3rd date and my guy let me pull out my wallet, I'd have nobody to blame but myself. So maybe I could have had a frank conversation, just being like, look, this is kind of important to me that a man, you know, is a gentleman, offers to pay, you know, takes the lead in that way. But future dates, I'm quite happy for you to maybe pay for this one and I'll pay for the next one, because that's, again, another thing I don't like. I hate splitting a bill 50-50. I would much rather, you know, I pay for everything this stage, you pay the next date, and we did it that way, and then it equates to maybe 50-50. But I can't be splitting the bill, or the ones where they do, oh, well, you had the chicken and that's more expensive than the salad I had, so you have to. It's a no for me. So you guys feel free to share your thoughts below. Actually, just before I go, I think I'm just going to quickly cover the fact that, you know, if I'm not interested in seeing a guy and I'm happy to pay, I know it didn't equate, I know that wasn't what happened here, but if I do get it, if a guy is not interested in you and he doesn't want to pay for your dinner, I get it. I get it. I think that everybody kind of knows where they are. I get that as well. But at the same time, I think a lot of men should be more discerning. They're like, well, how do I know the woman's not using me for a free dinner? And it's a legitimate fear, because there are women out there that just want to go out and eat. And I don't think that's fair. You don't like the man, I don't think that's fair. But men should stop asking out every woman under the sun. Take time to get to know each other, talk. Is there a connection? Start with drinks, start with something small or non-committal or free. That's absolutely fine. And then, you know, when there's a bigger connection, then offer dinner. But yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts down below. We're looking good, we're feeling good. Catch you in the next one. Hey.
Original bad man, mash up the place. Just say no, no.